in our game 1. That will be Mr.Doge against Doggo20, and this time we got Saxony here. Let's see what type of surprises we can find by Doge. Just let me have this properly set up so I don't miss anything. Alright, here you go, game 1.
20 again. This time we are on all spill for once, because I managed to get him to agree to it, and I'm gonna go with Wilhelm Saxony, which I haven't played for a while. Lately I've been doing mostly Risviet and Become. So this will be interesting.
Let's see, we got this in 720. Let's keep it like that so I don't get to if I don't lose any frames. So we got a very nice game here. I didn't saw it, I never see the games, so I just jump in on the flight. This time in all spill, Saxony against Americans, or Uzonia, as you guys want to pronounce.
As you all know, the Votan.
So I'm just going to pause really fast. So for Mr.Doge in all spill, is playing with blue colors on the north sector of the map. We got a Stormtrooper in Reserve 1, Prince William and the Wotan on Reserve 2. Really good to see what Doge going to do with it. A long time I don't see Prince William on the fight. I really like the unit, but I know that Prince William can be easy counter, and but it's very deadly in close combat areas because of the area of effective of Prince William in terms of abilities. And for Doggo, with double Fusiliers, double Volunteers, and the George Mason on Reserve 2. So Doggo playing with the red color team, red colors, sorry about that, and George Mason on Reserve 2. It's a little bit scary, but it's a big map. It still is a 50-50 option here between the players. Not seeing Bernilda this time here, so we're gonna see how the performance can be. We're gonna listen to Mr. Doge speaking on his channel. I think this is from YouTube, if I'm mistaken. I really need to start saving the links so I can share with you guys, and you guys can follow his channel as well on YouTube.
Pretty much hard counters George if there isn't anything to feed on the Votan, of course. Now I'm expecting assailants, but on the bright side there's a free gunner on this map, which I should hopefully be able to make use of.
Alright, there you go. So it seems like Mr. Doge is trying to counter properly against George Mason and Uzonia abilities here in terms of air
so
units.
Yeah, he has George double volunteer, which is, I would say, not really seen. I guess this is a variation of the standard quote-unquote George build. He's the first person I've seen use it, but it probably does exist somewhere. I'm assuming the goal here is to just rush up George sooner than you can, but at least last time we tried this, I managed to lay on the resource harassment enough that he couldn't get George out. With any luck, I can keep that up this game. Of course, Votans should outrange Noxes.
They should, and they do actually.
So that should be.
No, actually, I think they got the same range.
Get it?
It's really weird, but I really need to
Establishing
check
field
that.
command. Stand
There you
by.
go.
Theoretically, if I can keep my macro going well enough, the Votan.
Command established.
Stormtrooper squad ready.
Alright, don't forget guys, Mr. Doge playing with the blue colors here, with the mighty and only Saxony against the red team colors, Doggo20 with the mighty Uzonia with that air supremacy. I really think we're gonna see a lot of reviewers and gunships we made out. So it's a good abilities here. So we got Prince William and Wotans. I think Nox is pretty much the same range as a Wotan. I really need to confirm that. I will try to see if I can go to Arnava's fan web site to confirm, but I really think they are both the same range, but Nox can do a lot of damage, so really good to see what Wotans can perform here.
Awaiting orders. Attention. Enemy units over here.
So here comes already the first early play here from Doji. This is a correctly way to play. It's going immediately for his pumps. His opponent is doing the same, as you can see on the minimap. Iron points and nodes of oil being captured by both players. Right now we got a grenade being captured by Doji as well. It's trying to focus in terms of stealing his opponent iron and oil caches. That will give him a slight edge just to build that barrack a little bit early, or the workshop.
I know it's gonna, his grab is gonna do this.
So it's looking very well. There you go, first engagement directly on the RNO. This is a very important sector on the map. This time it's a VP area type of gameplay, but this node can be very precise. Depends what faction you're picking it. If you are going with well, Rusviets, Polonia, or even Uzonia, going for the RN node there in this side of the map can give you a big chunk of iron income. Right now we got 740 iron for Mr.Doge. There's no barracks yet getting built. A little bit delay here. It's 2 minutes, almost 3. So I guess that he's trying to, you know, he got his entire army in the front line fighting, so it makes sense that he's a little bit behind in terms of building his structure. So really you get to see if he's going for the barracks first or the workshop. The workshop can be very good if you go for green bar and try to come in. Oh, there you go. Oh my gosh, he's going for the workshop. There you go. All that advantage, grabbing those iron caches on the terrain. He shows having that big income, and there you go. Nice retreat path also from his squad of stormtroopers there, focusing on the lowest squad of well, volunteers falling back. Utilizing the cover correctly here from Doji, as we can see stormtroopers winning that fight.
Got oil? New intel?
Okay. Back up.
We are being fired upon.
It's not a bad engagement. It's a very favorite for Mr.Doge. He's doing very well. He's already locking down his opponent. This is the bigger issue from Doggo. Yeah, you know, he got 2 squads. He should have went for it.
Building upgrade complete.
But yeah, you got more units there. You should have went for the engagement. You got numbers on your side. That squad is a real a little bit low health, so it's more than enough to counter it. But he's still maintaining his iron and oil pumps connected and still enjoying it. So it's not in the bad spot. It's only early game. The bigger issue is losing all those caches through the mid without fighting for them, and forcibly give it that away for Doji for free. So I really think that at least sending a squad there on the Arden and oil cache just to prolong the game. You really don't want to give that advantage to your opponent. It's only a little bit of iron in the oil, but now it shows you can bring an early mech. As we can see here, the green bar already got deployed in 4 minutes and 50 seconds. So this will be a little bit difficult right now for Zoni player. That is Doggo20. There you go, we got already the bats.
Reserve forces have arrived.
So Mr.Doge is doing very nicely, correctly as well, being very aggressive with the green bar. He knows this is early game, so he knows that his opponent didn't went for a gunner crew, and still there's the cache of gunners to pick on the right side. There you go, nicely done by Doggo20. pushing his opponent with numbers, with the grenadier as well. So nicely done. That's how you should be countering your opponent. But unfortunately, this will be the issue. That green bar on early stage will be a little bit difficult here for Doggo20, playing with the mighty Lasagna and playing with the red colors. So the aggressive gameplay here will pay off. Doge knows there's no gunners from his opponent, so this is pretty much a free push. Very good. I love seeing this aggressive by Doggo20. On the previous game from yesterday that I saw and casted, he was playing too cautious. You know, oh, we got a field cannon, nice done there. So he was a little bit prepared. They got 125 damage on the front armor of the green bar. Nicely done. And there you go, he managed to gain that VP on his opponent's side and benefiting the triple VP cap. But he will need to fall back. It's not utilizing the cover very well. I think that he just pressed and maybe a misclick and the other just got cover on the other side. It happens. So he looks very well. At least he's playing more aggressive. It seems like Doggo it's actually improving. And you know, it's very important. And more games you guys do together, I really think you know, you end up countering each other and, you know, getting better on the game. They go reserve 2, almost coming in for Doggo. He got plenty of iron and he got plenty of oil. It's a little bit overstandard, but he's doing very good actually. He needs to be careful with that field cannon, of course. Oh, did he misclick it? Oh, we make. Oh. There you go, we got Prince William and a Wotan. I really think we are not going to see that George Mason coming in so early, because it is almost 8 minutes of. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful mega grenade there, and wiping the entire squad with the infantry squads. Nicely done there by Doge. Very focused on the gameplay, a little bit lost for Doggo20. Oh, it's only a squad of infantry can be rebuilt by the barracks when it gets upgraded. It's even cheaper, but at the same time, it's not in the bad spot. We got plenty of oil and iron coming in. We've seen that upgrade on iron as well. Oh, Veterans Elite on the Saxony Stormtroopers. Oh my gosh, Greenbot may get killed here on the rear arm shots. Just one more shot from the 80 gun should do it, but it seems like he managed to escape properly.
Unit 5 now.
It comes Doggo trying to breathe in on the map, still a little bit focused in the base area. I did see that early push from Doge. Doge plays very aggressive. I like that, you know, it's very action type of a gameplay. He doesn't sit back and wait for your opponent to come in, so he plays very aggressive, he goes for the fight. Doggo is doing actually a little bit better than yesterday. At least I'm seeing Doggo going for those points, sending at least a squad of infantry there just to grab. Doing that, you will end up denying your opponent that iron income or oil advantage on the terrain, and also you will slow down your opponent. And you end up distracting it. If you cannot fight in 1v1, try to clump a couple of units, try to push back your opponent every single time. There are still a few options. I know that Doggo20 went for double volunteer units from Lasagna, playing with the red team colors. He already got deployed on the map, but the question here is, will he go for George Mason right now? Or will he skip it and go for Riveras? A Nox right now could be a good option, but he needs something else to soften the blows from that Prince William and Wotans. Nox alone won't be a good idea. So I'm really eager to see how Doggo will come in terms of strategy.
Anti-tank gun spotted.
That 80 gun been doing very well against the green bar, as we saw from the early game. Big old pump there, totally upgraded, nicely done. So it means that is investing it in terms of oil and iron income, but at the same time he knows that he needs something here to soften the blows and protect the terrain a little bit. Good grenade, nicely done.
At home should be able to wipe the rest.
It comes to the green bot. That's open area right now. The fill cannon got through. So Doji is doing this correctly, you know, it's taking this opportunity to push in. Alright, so this should be time for George Mason to get deployed at least 1 or 2 minutes. It's 11 minutes. He got the iron mine, he got the oil pump.
Definitely not in farm here, but
grabbing the right side of VP as well. He's not doing that badly. He just needs to deploy George Mason. Oh, there you go. Oh my gosh. And we got Rivera. That's a surprise. Nicely done there by Doggo20. That's a totally surprise. I was thinking, wow, it must be suffering in terms of iron and oil because it was taking a long time. But there you go. We see a Rivera and the George Mason combination. This is how strong these units can be. Oh, Prince William may go down here, taking a couple of shots to the face. Oh my gosh, already 50% damage on George. Oh, that was ping, the ping. Oh my gosh, I think that he managed to... oh, he did retreat to Rivera here, but he's still doing very nicely. He's popping smoke, but he wants to keep... George alive, but he's doing very nicely. Oh, don't die, don't die, don't die. Oh, he needs those repairs. Oh my gosh, don't turn around. Keep that front armor to your opponent. Oh, it's trying to retreat there, if I'm not mistaken. At the same time, it's trying to repair with his engineering units. But George Mason may go down, unfortunately, here. We got Selim also coming in from Doggo20. Oh, did he manage to it? Oh, damn, he went down. Unfortunately, George Mason got total kill. Gotan did finish the job. Prince William was there also to counter it. There's a big wall of flame right down. Unfortunately, it's a big loss for Doggo20. There you go, Prince William goes down. If he managed to kill the Wotan, that will be already a very positive situation for Doggo, but unfortunately he didn't manage to kill the green bar. Wotan seems very okay and falling back. He got plenty of HP there. Even taking a couple of shots to the rear armor will be okay. Really pity losing George Mason. I thought that he was getting veterancy 1 there because of all that damage observing. So in our novice, the units, they get veterancy by getting damage and also from farming XP on the game. So more damage you do against your opponent will benefit. At least I think it's like 20% of the damage will be returned into XP, and you will. I don't remember the correctly number, but something like that. I really need to buy a notebook and start writing down every single thing about this game. Here you go. A very veterancy elite army here from Doji. I really love seeing that veterancy elite on the Stormtroopers. They get a big chunk of HP and they got rate of fire. They do more damage. It's only a little bit, but they actually do more damage. And there you go. We got the mighty Kaiser getting deployed here from Doji. Nice timing. You know, this is how you want to see. You know, if you cannot fight, you know you will lose that kind of situation. You're better off falling back and not taking any losses. You only lost a couple of seconds just to reach your base and put your units back up on the gameplay. Nicely done there by the Kaiser, shooting on the Riviera. Very good army build here from Doji. Doji is very comfortable on the gameplay, not having too much. Wow, that's a big shot for 150 damage there. Ooh, that's a lot of AoE damage. Comes the Wotan. Be more than enough to keep those units away. I think that we're gonna see another George Mason from Doggo20. It will make sense, but I was really surprised in that combination of the Rivera and George Mason. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out for Doggo20. He ended up losing that unit. So it's a little bit difficult right now for him. Oh, do we got another George Mason? Yes, we do. Nicely done. There you go. The big issue with the Kaiser, if the Kaiser gets veterancy 1, will be the best counter against air units. You can use the fortified mode on the Kaiser to lock down, and the ability 1 will be rockets firing against air and ground units. A lot of damage there on the Kaiser. Field cannon again, if I'm not mistaken. For Dougal, he should have went for gunship. Because they are even better than a field cannon. Well, they are pretty much a field cannon with wings. Oh, veterancy 1 on the Kaiser. This is crucial right now. Oh, and there's another Kaiser as well. So George Mason is taking a lot of damage here. Oh, he's going a little bit too aggressive. A little bit too aggressive with George Mason. Oh, I think that he's trying to get behind of the Kaiser. I think that's the idea here from Doggo20. Or he may kill one of the Kaisers, perhaps. Should go down, almost getting veterancy 2, veterancy elite actually. A lot of damage, passing through the mid, all those mighty Kaisers. Veterancy 1 on George, but it's already very low health. Oh, Rivera falling back. George Mason may get killed here on the retreat pad as well. Kaiser trying to aim on it. Oh, big explosion there. Elite field cannon. He will do more damage. Another loss there for Doggo20. But it was a good fight. There's a thing that he can do here will be not to lose George Mason. You know, I did get it why he wanted to push in. He wanted to kill a couple of units, but unfortunately it didn't work out. If he did manage to kill the Greenbark, the Wotan, Prince William there on the previous, on that combination so early in the game. But the big issue for George Mason, it's very easy to kill when it's veterancy 0. But when he gets veterancy 1, veterancy 2, he gets better. So Doggo is a little bit struggling with it. And that's actually a lot of loss in terms of supply incomes. So, you know, it's RN costs, it's fuel costs. There you go, that's game 1. And it's a win for Doji.
Yeah,
we're gonna put Doji here.
Because I haven't played it in like a while. Really a while. Saxon does counter Usovian pretty well.
So it was a really smart option there. I'm quite surprised seeing Prince William a little bit aggressive there. Because it's an easy unit to kill it. It got killed actually, but still was a good game.
And we're back in action with another Doggo20 match.
Alright, here we go. Game 2. No. It's Doji against Doggo20. Oh, a little bit greedy there. George Mason for Doji. Oh, the mirror match. And the engineer correctly done there by Mr.Doge. That's how you want to have a fully reserve system. I know that it's cheaper to bring only George to the battle, but if you go for that engineer is magic. The engineer from Muzonia, it's very efficient compared to most of the engineers on the game because it heals faster and it's very stronger on the gameplay. That engineer actually can do a lot of damage against Strasniks and Simialis. If you're playing with Polonia and you're trying to kill an engineer unit, if it gets close to you, you will get a lot of damage, so a little bit cautious there. But this is a mirror match, there's no Polonia on it. We got actually the same reserve from both players. Doji playing with the blue colors, red colors for Mr. Doggo20. So this is the correctly meta gameplay from Muzonia.
Yes, wonderful.
Knowing the map, it's crucial on any game because of the cache of weapon on the gameplay. Grabbing that grenade, it's crucial because you are already trading engineer unit to a fighting infantry squad, and that's very beneficial for the player itself on early stage. You are not being obligated to build another squad. You can keep up with the pressure on the terrain, having a fighting unit and not engineer. Comes a big grenade, nicely done there by Doggo, but oh, he still took a little damage, but he managed to, at least click it and get a little bit away. This is a very strong positioning for Doggo. It's actually, that's a better angle for him because Doji is playing aggressive, so Doggo is playing defensive. So that will be very beneficial for him. The majority of the players, they end up shutting down this side of the map with barbed wire and that edge through the building. Shutting down that sector with the barbed wire will slow down your opponent on trying to grab and trying to deny that oil to you, and keeping your oil pump always active. It's very beneficial. If you are not going for upgrades on early stage, if you are going for upgrades, iron mine, it's always a need. I'm actually very aggressive on my gameplays because I feel more comfortable to it. But yes, if you upgrade iron first, you get that advantage, and it will be cheaper to upgrade the oil pump. For example, if you are benefiting of 22 plus income right now, as you can see here from Doji, going for the iron mine first, he got plenty of oil, but he decided to go for the oil pump upgrade. It's not a bad idea. As you can see, immediately getting 7 plus in terms of oil. Oh, workshop, there you go. Most of the players from Muzonia, they prefer going for the workshop because it's cheaper and it's very cost efficient because you got Salams, you can bring Riveras, and you also get unlock in terms of reserve system will be unlocked that reserve one.
By tying up his forces in the middle there for a bit, we've managed to stop him.
We're gonna put this a little bit loud so we can listen to Doji.
Getting his second oil pump.
Yo, what'll it be?
Doji actually,
to us, of course.
Alright, so Doji is actually trying to get his opponent oil pump. He knows that George Mason will need some oil income, so denying your opponent in terms of supply lines could be crucial. There's also a good option for new players will be to memorize your opponent build. You may lose the first game, but at least the second game you already know what type of faction your opponent is going for, what type of reserves that your opponent uses. Memorizing your opponent reserve deployment, it's a plus. It means you get like 5 minutes of a game to bring in some counter. Oh, big grenade there. That could be a squad wipe. Oh man, really lucky there from Doji. Look at that squad with barely 0 HP, barely alive. There you go, we got finally the barbed wire on the oil pump. This is a good strategy level. In company of heroes, we actually use barbed wire a lot. Unfortunately, in Iron Office, barbed wire will be costly, but still can be there to deny that cover to your opponent. The majority of the players, they don't do that. I will show you guys tomorrow how to use your barbed wire in 1v1 games. Hopefully I will try to see if I get Kuchan maybe Silix, see if they can do a couple of games. So we're gonna do a little bit of tactics in terms of defense style, and we're gonna use our sandbags and barbed wire tomorrow for you guys to have a look at it. Denying the cover to your opponent is very beneficial. It means your opponent cannot be close to you. Good kill there from Doggo. There you go, reserves coming in from Doji. Doggo already benefiting. He managed to wipe one squad of his opponent unit. Oh, we may lose a squad here of volunteers. There you go, managing to fall back correctly. Comes the first Rivera. Double Fusiliers also coming in for Doji. Oh, 1-1 right now. Bot players losing a squad of infantry. A little bit difficult here already for Doggo20. Two brand new squads of volunteers. I tend to call them Fusiliers because of company heroes. Just a bad habit. Or Blitzkrieg. Oh, big shot there from Rivera.
Equipping engineers. Engineers regrouping. Production is steady. Yep. Maximum. Enemy units.
Alright, a little bit surprised, a little bit late there on the upgrade on Iron Mine, but it's actually not struggling in terms of iron, so well, it's very comfortable here for Doji. Doesn't surprise me going for a late upgrade. Oh, we may go for another kill here. A lot of damage, a couple of shots will do it. There you go, nicely done by Doji, neutralizing another infantry squad from his opponent. Big push here on the left. This is the brand new, I will say Panzer Fusiliers. But no, I'm a little tired indeed. So this is volunteer units coming in from Lasagna. That's a brand new squad, so it means Doggo just deploy his reserve one as well. It comes the Zeppelin.
What a nerd.
It's a good option. The Zeppelin, it's a very good unit. It performs very well, and it can be cost efficient as well. Nicely done there by Doggo, managing to disable the big iron node against Doji, and he's already going for the oil pump as well, denying your opponent supply income. He will slow down in terms of deploying that reserve. It will slow down just a couple minutes, but those minutes can be crucial. Could be the turn back for you just to deploy a field cannon or a unit just to be a little bit more stronger on the battlefield when that reserve 2 is yours and the engineer comes in on the game. But of course, a different micro between the players and different strategy level as well. Really pity. Doggo should have used his Zeppelin against the Rivera there. So I'm really surprised that he's playing a little bit aggressive. I think that Doggo wants to kill units from his opponent and bleed Doji. I think that's the idea here from Doggo. It's not a bad one. You know, if you manage to shut down your opponent's infantry, it means his map control will be very slow and will be longer. There you go, reserve 2 getting deployed. But this game, it's very difficult for Doggo because he doesn't have map control. It's still struggling to keep some ground. And Zeppelin, it's good for that, as you can see on the gameplay. Already getting veterancy 1. Oh, another Zeppelin. Didn't realize it.
Wow, what an absolute nerd. Holy shit.
Alright, so we are going to see that George Mason and the engineer a little bit delayed. It's almost 10 minutes. There you go, we got George Mason and the engineer from Doji. And Mr.Doge20, he doesn't have the George Mason and the engineer, so it's a little bit behind. He doesn't have map control, unfortunately. Map control is very crucial on arenas. Comparing to the majority of RTS games, they let the players to rebuild a big army before going for any supplies in the terrain. So in Iron Harvest is the opposite. This game doesn't give you any opportunities on the early stage. The only option for you is two things: be aggressive or be very defensive and try to play for the mid game. But you need a solid defense gameplay. Salams are good for that. They are there doing nicely damage against the Rivera. But it comes the engineers. That engineer unit is so crucial for Zonia. As you can see them reinforcing that Rivera on the front line. Salam already in soft retreat. And George Mason just coming in. George Mason is very easy to counter when its veterancy is 0. But again, when he gets veterancy 1, he starts scaling very well. So just a little bit cautious. If you want to shut down that George Mason, make sure you do it as early as possible. Don't. If he gets veterancy 4, forget it. You will need a big army just to clump against it. So a few things. Considering sometimes you're better off not engaging George Mason and still playing for the map control. So there's a lot of options here for the players. Comes the double Cellen, nicely doing good damage. Only a couple of 3s and 4s as you can see here by the damage, but he's going there. If you look at the icon on the layout from Doji here, he already took almost 50%. So that's around 35% of HP already lost from George Mason alone. But those engineers are crucial in the game because George Mason is so slow, it's difficult to fall back, and that's a good opportunity here to keep George on the battlefield and having those engineers very fast healing up. Oh my gosh, there you go, George getting deployed. Immediately retreating, good flame burst, scaring away those infantry units. Good damage already. But where is the engineering unit from Doggo? Oh, it's not using the engineering units. Oh no, Doggo, you did forget to put your engineer there, fixing George. Oh, it's a little bit delayed. Ah, oh, damn it. Just a small mistake there from Doggo20. And there you go. George Mason gets totally killed again. Look at the damage there from the flamers alone. It shows the difference here was using your engineer correctly, and Doggo was a little bit delayed. I think that he was trying to bring those Salams, and that engineer, well, unfortunately got behind. But the Salams alone, as you can see, it's so efficient. 2 Salams. There you go, veterancy lead on one of them, veterancy 1 on the second, and look at that, almost killing George Mason.
What is it? We're listening. We're ready to go. Get behind it.
You, Admiral Mason here.
This mine's ours.
Yo!
Building upgrade complete. We have access to new Union assets.
Could be a scout. Enemies approaching.
They're shooting at us!
Volunteers back at base.
Oh yes, I'm sure engaging the broadside Mason is definitely the best idea.
Rifles here!
Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. Alright, as you can see, Salams, they are not that weak. They are very efficient. GG, well played. Just a small mistake there from Doggo.
Doggo20, you made the 7 stat.
But it could have been a very good combination there.
First Revere. Yummy.
Well, 10 kills, that's a lot.
Going out there because messed up. But, oh well.
GG, well played from both players. So yes, the bigger mistake from Doggo there was not using the engineer on George Mason. He got those engineers. They got unfortunately behind, and he could have won that engagement if you realize with the double Salem and George Mason alive. He could have won that engagement and still being able to push a bit forward. But in terms of income, Doji was in a solid positioning. Even losing the George Mason, he can rebuild it very easy. It's not that expensive, and we may even see just a little bit longer the game play, but you know, it happens. Just a small mistake, and you know, it was a very difficult situation for the Doggo20. But I cannot complain. You know, it's only levels. You know, only level 11 here from Doggo20, so he's still learning the game. And learning, it's always a tough thing for new players. But that's the idea, you know, if you want to improve, you need to do mistakes, but you need to realize where you're doing mistakes and try to fix them. Doggo only plays with Doji. Yeah, I seem so. At least they are, you know, they are doing some type of training, I guess. But I think that Doggo from yesterday and for months, but it's still in level 11. Really? Well, but it's getting a little bit better. At least I can see that from yesterday game and today it's been a little bit more. Do you even get XP from custom games? You should, because if you play against AI and you get XP, so even in custom you should. I tried to get him to play other people, he always refuses. But you know, at least is having fun, I guess. But I cannot complain, man. You know, if you want to learn the game, pick your favorite faction, try your best to skill in on the match. All right, that's game 1 and 2. We're gonna jump in on Silix and Lev against TFP and Divine in the big massive 2v2